Coach Casey Halstead, Motivation Monday, episode number 3. In previous discussions, we talked about getting the big picture on your finances and leaning them out. And we've also talked about getting the big picture of your time management and leaning it out. Today, one of the most effective things you can learn is decision-making skills that are going to help you move forward and navigate through relationships, time management issues, and also financial issues. If you like what I'm doing here, please make sure you subscribe to Casey Halstead on YouTube. Leave a comment, like it, and I'll make sure to get back to you and answer all questions. I'm available. You can direct message me on Facebook or Instagram at coach.casey. We'll talk to you in a minute. Welcome back. We're here with episode number 3, decision making. Let's get right into it. Number 1, redefine values. You know, this one means a lot to me. When I was a young man, just starting out in my corporate goal endeavors, you know, just getting a job and trying to work my way up, I had problems in my life, and I thought that the $40,000 a year would be the benchmark that would solve everything. Man, if I can just make $40,000, I'll be able to afford this car. I'll be able to not have a roommate in my apartment. And one of the things I realized real quick is when I achieved that $40,000 income, I stayed relatively unhappy. So I knew at that point that I needed $60,000. That was the real number that would make me happy. Well, I hit $60,000. Again, I'm still not happy. The problem is I was putting my happiness in material goods or monetary worth. And no matter how much you're making or how much you own, it's never going to be enough. You know, I want a brand new Honda Accord. That thing is so luxury and nice. You get it, immediately you're going to want a Mercedes-Benz, and then so on and so forth. So one of the best things I ever did in my life was redefine my values. And what I did is I looked into the relationships that were important to me, my family, my friends, my gym associations, and I started to put value on them more than monetary stuff, and immediately my life started to get much, much better. So what I would suggest people do is spend less emphasis on monetary things that can be taken away, whatever, and start focusing on developing relationships and focusing on real people, tangible things. That's going to help a lot. The number 2 is to just be aware. You know, we navigate life with this kind of inability to connect with people, and it seems like a lot of times when people are driving, they're just not aware of their surroundings. When people are in grocery stores and they're just kind of navigating the aisles, they're not aware of other people. And so if you have a state of mind where you're aware of how your decisions are affecting those around you, you'll find over time that people that you want, like-minded people, are going to start to just gravitate towards you and start influencing your life in positive ways. You know, so I try to have a higher awareness when it comes to decision-making time, or even just being present in the moment. You know, I try to be aware of how my posture, my attitude, what am I projecting into the world, and how is that being received by others. This has a huge impact, but it's something that's oftentimes overlooked. So make sure that you're just being aware all the time of like what it is you're doing and how you're impacting others. The third thing is act like a CEO. You know, when someone does something to make you upset, just imagine what the CEO at the top level would do. They don't get emotional. They don't scream and yell. They don't fight back. They don't argue. And this is something that my wife talks to me about all the time. When I get upset and then I need to go back and deal with somebody, she's like, hey, remember to act like a CEO. Don't act like a kid. You know, and this one holds true to me because you are the one in charge of controlling your own ego and the way that you're perceived. So you need to handle it like a business. You know, you're in charge of your life. So if somebody is causing you a lot of pain and you're done dealing with them, all you got to do is literally just fire them out of your life if you're done. I don't ever think that that's necessarily the best thing to do. I think you should work with your friends and try to develop them and build them. But at some point, you may need to act like a CEO and make some executive decisions for your own life. But the last thing you should ever do is start getting upset and angry and yelling and screaming. I don't like to kind of put that energy in the air. It's something that I'm working on. I still get upset from time to time, but I'm glad that I have my wife in my ear telling me, hey man, act like a CEO. And this decision making is really helping me out with trying to keep all what I have going together. We have a lot of different people, and we need to try to bring them together. And the best way to bring people together is by being positive and reinforcing the good stuff and working on the bad. So don't ever act impulsive and angry. Try to cut that stuff out of your life and be a CEO of your own life. The fourth thing, and the most important thing for me with my decision making, is setting very, very strong pillars. When I was a young man, I had all these ideas of what I was going to be, and a lot of those were predicated on things that people controlled, right? So like, I'm going to be the boss of this company. Well, I don't control that. I can work hard, but other people are controlling whether or not I'm ever going to make it there. And that left me very vulnerable and exposed. And so life, when you're in your early 20s, is kind of like the ocean, ebb and flow, and the tide comes in and the tide goes out. Sometimes the seas get high, sometimes they get low. There's good weather, bad weather. But I like to envision my pillars as lighthouses, right? So no matter how bad the seas get, no matter how difficult the decision is to make, for me, I've simplified my pillars very, very easy. Number 1 is my wife. Number 2 are my children. Number 3 are my students and my friends. So no matter how difficult this decision seems to be, and no matter how perplexed I am about the answer, the tide's coming in and out, it's very stormy, and I can't see anything, but I can always see the 3 beacons off into the distance. And the first thing I say is, how's this going to affect my wife? How's this going to affect my kids? And how's this going to affect my students? And that is what I use to make decisions. Every decision I make in my life, I ask those 3 questions. And if it's going to impact them favorably, then the answer is no matter what. If I'm tired, hungry, no matter what. If it's gonna impact their lives favorably, I'm just gonna say yes, and I'm gonna suck it up, and I'm gonna get it done. If it's something that can impact them negatively, more than likely it's gonna be no. Sometimes we need to have further discussions to try to figure it out. If it's not gonna impact them at all, then I take it on a case-by-case basis. But the one thing that I want you to remember is setting pillars that are definite definitions of who you are. I define myself as a father and a husband and as a coach, and those things can never be taken away from me. I will always be my daughter's father, and I will always be my wife's husband, and I'm always going to be a friend and a coach. So no matter what happens in my life, you can take all my money, you can take all my clothes, you could throw me out in the middle of the street, and it's not going to change any of that. And this is why I've become an effective decision maker, is because I use these 4 just simple tools: redefine values, and then I try to stay aware of like how my decisions are affecting people around me, and then I act like a CEO. I try not to get mad. I always try to find the best solution. Life is all about team building, and you have your team, and you should be building them and make them all strong by positive reinforcement, not negative reinforcement. And then the pillars, that's very simple. Just keep it simple. Look in, don't look out. Try not to put too much emphasis on what you can get and how much money you can make. That's pretty much going to always leave you a little bit empty inside. But this has been episode number 3. If you liked it, please like. And if you would like to, please leave a comment. I'll get back to you. Subscribe to Casey Halstead on YouTube. Thank you so much.